Okay, and Ash asks, can we use other clients other than the professor for a video? Should I make a persona? You could, and the only reason why I suggested myself as a client, sorry, my cat Isa is joining us, is because if you have questions about the Lobo summer camp document or the HOA, the Housing Owner Association document, then you can ask me those questions. But if you're using other documents, you can think about the authentic audience or the authentic author of those documents. You could also play with, it doesn't, you don't have to think about me when you think of the HOA or the Lobo document. You could, you know, just, you know, obviously you want to have the author of the document in mind. An example cover letter. Yeah, I'll look at past examples. It might look a little bit different than what I'm asking you all to do. Like it won't cover those same 7 aspects because I'm using a new book this year. So it won't look exactly, but I guess what I could do, which might be even better, is when you all submit drafts of your cover letters, I can offer up an example of a really good one. And you get lots of chances to revise. So I can give you a version of a cover letter, but it might not exactly address the same questions you are. Can you use a font other than Times New Roman? Sure. Just keep in mind, you know, who your audience is, what the context is, what your purpose is. So for example, you don't want to use Comic Sans, right? You want to keep it professional. Let's see, Syra. So what software and or tools are helpful in creating PowerPoint slides with a voiceover? I'll just show you really quick. You don't have to use anything but PowerPoint. So if you click on a slide in PowerPoint and then you go over here to audio and click on the drop down menu, and then you're going to click audio record. And so you can record each slide as you go. And then when somebody looks at your presentation, there'll be a button to click on. Otherwise, you can use PowerPoint this way, you know, with Zoom, where you're just articulating your slides through Zoom, however, whatever works best for you. You could practice, try it out, see what you like. You can resubmit as many times as you need to. Things you should avoid. I wouldn't say there are things to avoid, at least, you know, that's kind of a big question. I think it's more of making sure you're addressing the assignment guidelines and being thoughtful about the choices that you make, and then inventorying those choices in your cover letter. And will you need to do your own research to access the accuracy of a document? It's possible. And as I mentioned in the homework for this week regarding the chapter on accuracy, if you can, like, for example, the person who is working at a dental office, if there's an issue of accuracy, they should reach out to the author of those documents or the office manager, et cetera, to check the accuracy. However, if you don't have access to someone who could do that for you, then just list I asked you in the homework to list the questions that you would ask or the aspects of the document that you would look into to check accuracy. Trevor, I'm guessing the format of the 3 to 5 minute video and MP4, you know, just whatever you record, you can upload to YouTube, for example, and then post the link to YouTube. You can try uploading through Kaltura. I personally have a terrible time uploading things to learn through Kaltura and have now switched to YouTube. It's a lot faster for me. Gabriel, awesome. Hope you find other people's questions useful. Colin, I think you might have had the same. Perfect. No questions. Evan, when editing, do we highlight where we make our edits and present the unedited copy along with the edited copy, or we do just present the fully edited project? I would say present the fully edited project, because if you use track changes, it's going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to read it and I'm not going to be able to make heads or tails of it. So I would like you to just submit the fully edited project, and because you're submitting it with the cover letter, that'll help me understand where you made your edits. So John Scott, should we be anticipating answers to the questions that we'll be asking to the client? I mean, you could, I mean, that helps you understand the document, but that doesn't mean it should prevent you from actually asking the questions. But if you don't have access to the client, then sure, you could, well, you don't have to answer them, just present your questions. That's what I'm interested in seeing, how thoughtful your questions are. And for the peer review, should you be directing your comments towards the construction and completeness of the editing rather than the editing itself? Yeah, so I'll be giving you a peer review sheet to use. It'll be, usually I just use the rubric that I'm going to use to evaluate your project. I'll give that to you to use in order to evaluate your peers. And really what I'd like you to do is look at the document and the cover letter at the same time when you do your peer review, and see how well the cover letter refers to the edited document. You know, you don't want to make your reader do the reader of the cover letter do any work. You want to point exactly in the document where you're talking about and what changes you've made, including page numbers or paragraphs or referring to headings or something. But really it's making sure that those two documents are working well together. And if you happened to do the same document and you notice a big, something glaring that maybe the person wants to address, then you can mention that. Bridget says, I'd love some clarification on the 3 to 5 minute video presentation. Is there an example I could look at for inspiration? I'm just wondering if I should present a bulleted list of my plans, or if I should incorporate the document itself into the presentation as well. So you can do either, presenting your bulleted list and or the document. You could do one or both. And you know, Bridget, maybe what I'll do is before that video is due, I could post a brief example of what that might look like. I've taught this class before face-to-face, so I don't have a video version of it because it was a face-to-face class. So I'll see what I can do in creating an example, a brief example. Jack. Yeah, about 2 pages for your cover letter. And Julia, you get the last question. So, you know, the author of the document is the client. So for the HOA and the Lobo summer camp, you can use me as your client, or you can imagine who that client is. Yes, you get as many chances as you need to revise needs work. Are we noting the edits we are making on a separate document to show what will be changed and what the differences in the documents will be? So again, you're making notes on the editing plan of what edits you're going to make. Then you're going to go ahead and edit the document. And make sure week by week, as you're responding to the homework questions on Learn, your responses are going to help you. You can look back on those responses, and when you write your cover letter, you'll be able to incorporate that information or some of that information into your cover letter. So that should work really well. Okay, all. I think that about covers it for now. Let me know if you have any other questions. Feel free to shoot me an email if anything else comes up.